Jethro's advice, Exodus 18. This vlog today, it's a lesson about helping supporting ministries and doing the things, the duties that God has called us to do. In Exodus 18, it talks about Moses. He was the only judge over all the people in Israel at one time. And his father-in-law, his name is Jethro, he came to visit, him and the family came to visit Moses. And Jethro, he was watching Moses and he was seeing what he was doing, working all day. He being the only judge to judge all these various legal situations, legal cases that were brought before him. He had to judge them all. At this time, the Israelites, they didn't have the statutes written down. No, they didn't have that. They needed to depend on Moses for him to give them all the laws and to say, what God had decided that it would be, because God had only revealed these things to him. So Moses thought that he needed himself to be the only judge for all these cases, over all these thousands of people. And Jethro looked and he saw that this was not a good thing. And he advised his son-in-law, he said, you need to give out authority to different men who have good qualifications. Give them the easy cases to judge so that you can go about teaching. And if the men, if they have a difficult case and it's hard for them to judge it, they can bring those cases to you. Well, Jethro, his advice to Moses, he said that these men who have good moral character, that's more important than skill. These men are going to be control the people who are going to be leading over the nation. They need to be of high character and have good minds. They need to be able to understand the situations well. And most important of all, they need to fear God. And that means that they need to know that they are always responsible to God. Matthew Henry, he's a preacher from a long time ago, and he said that the fear of God is that principle which will best fortify man against all temptations to injustice. So the men, they needed to be truthful. They needed to be worthy of honor. They needed to be men who were honest, that could judge fairly. And the last point is they needed to not be involved in covetousness. This is a great sin that many men who are in high positions of controlling people, of governing, that they are prone to, unfortunately. And it's because they want more power and more wealth that they are drawn to covetousness. They look at the things that other people have and they are tempted to do things like take a bribe and then judge unfairly. And that's just not right. Now, it's important that we vote for the men in the nation of people who are in high authoritative positions who are not prone to covetousness. They need to hate covetousness. And that means that they are satisfied with what God has given them. And it also means that they are not tempted to lie, to cheat, or to steal, and just because they want more power and more wealth. Now, this verse that we just looked at, Jethro, his advice to Moses, it's good advice. And we learn from that giving authority to men of good character is very important. These men in high positions of leadership, they need to have a good influence for power. They're going to have power over us. How do we apply this to our life? Well, we've been studying this subject of government, actually. So it's not just limited to the church. So we have to discuss this also. We are responsible for choosing men of honor, men that fear God, men who want to serve in government. When you vote, do you think about good qualifications, good character of the men you're voting for? Do you pray that God will raise up a man who will fear the Lord and hate covetousness and become of good moral character and want to lead the nation? You know, there's some deaf people, even deaf Christians, and they vote for people who in government positions, a governor or president or something, and they are voting for the people who they don't care if they have good character. They like what they can do for them. They care if they can give the deaf people jobs. They support people who can do good things for the deaf people. They don't care about, things if the man supports abortion or same-sex marriage, or if he does not honor God. The deaf people, they don't care about their morals. They just like what they can get from the person because they're deaf. Don't do that. Look at the man's life. Look at what he believes in. It's important to look at the man. Does he fear God? Is he truthful? Don't look at what he can do to serve the deaf people. It's important to look at his character. That's what's important. Coram Deo.